girl, someone would ask me the other day, she's like, what are you going to do when you actually find someone really similar to you? Would you get along? I was like, gosh, no way.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 4 a.m. club. That's Sam, this is Leroy, and we are doing it shower thoughts. So, Sam, this is a scenario-based one. If I told you you had 3 months to start a side hustle, let's say a painting business, how would you go about executing that? And you have 3 months.
Okay, this is an interesting one. This is a very scenario-based question.
Yeah.
I like the service-based job too. It's like painting, I guess, is a bit more of an easy one because you have an end goal.
Yeah.
You're either painting someone's house or you're not. Like, there's no middle ground. You're either making money off like doing your job or you're not making money at all.
Yeah.
So to get there, obviously, I think the tricky part with this one is you either A, have to be a really good painter, or B, you have to have a really good painter. Either of the two, one requires lots of time and experience, one requires high costs in the short term.
Do you reckon you need to be like an actual good painter, or you just need to know how to paint?
I think if it's your business and if it's your your reputation is on the line, you would need to have a standard of experience that someone can say, yes, he's done a good job of painting my house.
Yeah.
Like if you finish a job and someone's like, they did okay, I probably could have done better myself. You're not going to get recommended. Like, you're going to miss out on stuff straight off the bat. So I know, for example, let's say, for example, we started a painting business.
Yeah.
We're probably not good enough to be painters straight off the bat. We would have to actually practice a lot. Like, just get a spare wall in maybe like one of our houses and just practice painting. Like, I think
a few YouTube videos.
Yeah, man. Like, I think you could learn it on the spot.
Yeah.
But to straight off the bat go and do it, just be like have the end goal. Like, you know what? Let's just book a client, see how it goes. I don't think that goes very well for you.
Okay. So then how would you execute it?
So I think you need a timeline.
Yeah.
Like, number one, you have to be able to secure, like, being able to complete the services well. Like if it was us and we have no painting experience, we would need a painter. Yeah. So we would, number one, need to find someone and then have like the capital to pay them to start off with. Like, we would need to know, okay, cool. Like, this is the process. This is where we're up to now. This is like zero. Like, we have no marketing. We have no operations process. We have no method of booking anything. But we know this is where we need to get to, which is just our painter painting a house. Yeah. So as long as you can see like where that is, then I think you can backtrack a little bit more. But like, if you don't have the painter locked in, like, and you have no one where you can actually execute your service, you can't do any of the other stuff. And you can't really, you could start the marketing, but
there's nothing.
If you don't have the capacity to finish that thing that you say you're going to do, what's the point of marketing? You know, maybe you could book people in advance, but people will be like, why would I wait in advance for you? Yeah. Like that's the bonus of, like, you know, those little passive side hustles, is like you can just get straight into it. Yeah. Like, you know, if someone's like backing you, like the one man show, you know, that doesn't have much of a reputation, they're kind of hoping you can get in there and be flexible with when you're going to do it. Not, you know, put your trust in someone who's done it heaps of times before, is booked out for like a month or two.
And you know you're going to get like a good job.
Yeah.
If you book it out like in 3 months' time.
Yeah. So I guess that brings us back to how to execute the plan for that. Number one, you got to lock in what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So for example, that would be for us finding that painter and then knowing, okay, cool, this is the service we're going to offer. We're going to paint the inside of a house for X amount of money. Great. Now you have that thing. Now you can come up with like your, like, obviously a couple of things along the way you got to do. Yeah. Number one can be, like, say, like marketing. It's like the first step. Like, let's say the second step is figuring out the operations process. You can probably chop and change them a little bit, or you can probably do both at the same time. That's okay. Third step, probably like branding and just actually coming up with like who you're going to be. Like, are you going to be targeted towards like millennials? Just offer these
like first home buyers.
Yeah, like first home buyers. Like, are you going to have like a bit of like a like a hipster vibe thrown in there, knowing that you're going for this particular demographic? Or are you going for like general, run-of-the-mill, like targeting like a much more broader, specific population? Like you're not going to know if you like which way you're going to go unless you've got something that you can actually give to people.
Yeah.
You know? So like, if you don't get that bit sorted, you're not going to get the rest of it sorted.
Yeah.
So
the rain's coming in.
Yeah, if you're getting some peaceful, background noise, just don't fall asleep. Some good tips coming. And yeah, so essentially like the next little step for me, but okay, cool. I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
It's those 3 steps to then being able to get someone into paint a house and make money.
Yeah. So the plan. You got the plan.
Yeah.
Where are you going to find the painter?
So the painter, man, I think you can find painters just about anywhere these days. Like Cousin Rob is, he needs a bit of work. I'm pretty sure he's painted a few like model toys before. He'll do. Don't know. I guess it really depends on, number one, like this scenario is a good scenario because like we don't really know much about it.
No.
So, but where I would probably start looking would be, man, you could essentially find someone who is already a painter, but has shit marketing. Like you could say, hey, look, I know you got your business set up, like maybe you have a couple of clients, maybe you do like lots of things, like you're a jack of all trades. I will employ you for X amount of money to become just a painter for me. I'm going to do all the marketing, control all the operations processes, like all the branding, like finding clients and like managing all of that is all going to be up to me. You just got to go and do the job, essentially.
So like a contractor, essentially.
Yeah, kind of. So like I guess there's that way. There will be that way of finding someone who's already doing it, but maybe
not doing it too well. Or just not getting the attention that they desire.
Exactly. I mean, there's always the classic one of just putting the feeler out there. I feel like connections are a pretty like important thing too. Like for example, like let's say for example our social media page is. We got quite a lot of people, combined.
Painter needed.
Painter needed. Like, if you just put the inquiry out there, like you ask your friends, like, hey, we're starting this painting business. Anyone in the family who's got any kind of experience in that field, hit us up. Let us know. At least that way, you'd have a few connections into the painting world. Yeah. And you can kind of deep dive a little bit more from there.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be too hard to find like a connection. Maybe even like a third sort of connection, a friend of a friend.
Yeah. So like let's say you get that main problem sorted of having something to offer people. Yeah. So that's done. Then you got to go back to the basics of creating whatever the heck your business is going to be. Another important bit too is going to be actually having the approvals and the licenses to be able to do what you want to do. So I guess it depends on how you're going to set your business up, but it's not that hard to set up a business. No. Like if you're just going as a sole trader or a partnership, you can be done in 2 days. Yeah. Easy. Yeah. And like as I don't know, that's the thing, I don't know much about the painting world, so there'd be a lot to find out. But if
doing a background research.
Yeah. Which like for me, like and something else that I'm getting into at the moment, I'm realizing there's a lot more like licenses and registrations that you need. Yeah. Which like I did a lot of background work, but it's not until you're doing the applications that you're like, oh, hang on, actually now I need this. And it's like, oh, to get that I need that. And it's like, and maybe potentially just by doing more research I could have found that out. But yeah, like I guess that's just on me for not doing my due diligences. But that's where, I get to teach other people to do it.
I think like a nice way to get the know-how real quick, especially if you sort of know someone who's a painter, is just give them a call, buy them a coffee and just pick their brain. Exactly. And that solves all that BS of having to Google this and that and that. You just get the straight up what you need, what you don't need, what you could need, what you could get away with but need, what you couldn't get away with but need.
I feel like we're also skipping like a big step that we're just kind of presuming that people have done if they've come this far with their side hustle or their passion project. Yeah, is they've done their R&D. Like they have done the hard groundwork of just researching like a bitch to find out everything about this particular thing they want to get into. Yeah,
a few pages of notes.
Yeah, like you have some pretty serious notes on who's out there, who's doing what, and like what being a painter actually involves. Like if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, you don't know what you're going to be stepping into in terms of like responsibilities.
Yeah. So in that 3-month timeline, because let's say I just slap this on you.
Yeah.
You have to do your R&D. How long are you going to do your R&D? Let's say you have pretty much unlimited time to work on this.
Yeah.
So you're not working an actual job.
I guess, like, for me, I'm definitely a man of firm deadlines in a very short period of time. Because, like, if at least if you have a firm deadline, like, you're gonna push hard to make that time. You might not make it. You might miss it by a week, 2 weeks, whatever.
But you'll be much closer.
Yeah, you'll be much, much closer than not. So, like, let's say if I had 3 months, I'd say 2 weeks. Well, if I have unlimited time, I can get a lot done in a very short period of time.
Actually, that's too easy. Let's say you can only just work Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday, okay. It's still a lot of time.
8 to 5.
8 to 5, okay. I reckon in a week's time, I could have a really, really good idea of the field that I was going to get into.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, it takes me like 2 weeks maximum to do research and development to something that I know absolutely nothing about. Give me 2 weeks, I reckon I can have a pretty good idea of what the whole field entails. Like, then I'll probably be like, okay, cool, this is all the information that I've been able to find myself. Give me a week of starting to actually, like, look into what, like, licenses or, like, registrations I'll need for the business.
Yeah.
And then call up as many painters as I can. Even just getting, like calling up businesses is an amazing thing. You can get so much information.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? What are your prices? What's your experiences? Why should I choose you? Why are you better than your competitors? Etc, etc. They'll give you all that information straight off the phone because they want you to try and buy the product. Knowing fully well, I'm not. I'm not getting my house painted by them.
A cool little sneaky thing that I just thought about what you could do then is just go on Gumtree, and there's probably always an ad that painters just need someone.
Yeah.
So you could maybe for 2 days just go and work as an apprentice painter and just sort of watch what this person does.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I guess it brings up to the next bit too of. Let's say, for example, you're doing all the research in the first month.
Yeah.
So by month number 2, I think you'd be able to, let's say, for example, it takes you 2 to 4 weeks to actually find and source who's going to do your painting, or like train yourself up to be able to do the skill yourself. Obviously, a very short timeline, but this is 3 months, and like you just have to be good enough that someone says that you've done a good job.
Yeah.
Essentially, you can pick up more skills as you go. But you just got to be good enough to not do a shit job. I think that's the important bit. Otherwise, that could just kill you straight away.
Yeah.
So let's say it takes a month to either A, source an external painter, or B, upskill yourself to then become a good enough painter. I think you're leaving yourself like enough wiggle room there in that 3rd month to be able to then do like all your branding, all like your marketing stuff, and then like I have the end goal there to be able to start actually giving your product out to the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say it's a pretty like accurate split of time. But like, I mean, like the progression of this plan though wouldn't be necessarily linear.
No.
Like I as soon as you decide you're going to do something, you're already thinking about like how you're going to market it, how you're going to brand it. Like by the time by week 1, you might have already found the perfect person. Be like, you found it out on Facebook or something. You're like, great. Skip, I've got a whole month's worth of progress done in 2 days.
Yeah, I was thinking that because in that R&D, I imagine you could be looking at ads at companies and asking around, and you might even meet someone who could immediately you're like, this is the person I want to do this to be the main painter. Yeah, and so you have that sorted. Yeah, and so like that essentially would be like my rough plan. Yeah. Like obviously there's a lot of things that would like chop and change between like what you're actually trying to achieve here. Yeah. And like to actually be able to keep like to keep to time, you need to have some goals there. Like you need to be accountable to like what you say you're gonna do. Otherwise, like all of a sudden you start lining up the painter to, okay, cool, like this is the day we're gonna start like opening up the books. Like from this point on, like you got to be free for us. Like let's say you start off on like a 2 or 3 days a week, it's a bit more flexible for them. But you at least got to be able to say like, yes, this is when like all of a sudden people are like depending on you to have done your job. It's not just your thing anymore. Which is why like I guess that soft research comes in like really important, knowing if you can handle it or not. But yeah. But jeez, I just thought of a real rogue way to do it. Like this is proper like garage style. Yeah. Let's just say you skip the you do your R&D. Yeah. But you immediately go out and get yourself a client. Somehow you've talked them well, and you get a client that's paying, let's say $2,000 or $3,000 for a 3-day job.
Yeah.
So now you got $3,000 that you're gonna, it's secured.
Yeah. Okay.
So you could go buy paint, put out like a few job ads, and just get like a random skilled painters, pay them each $300 or $400. Let's say you got 2.
Yeah.
Pay them $300, so that's $600. Painting the paint, I don't know. Let's say paint costs you another $400.
Yeah.
So that's $1,000.
My only dilemma with this approach is it's very short-term gain based.
It's very grunge style. That's like if you need a quick 2K for something.
Like, it'll work. Put it this way. It might work.
Yeah.
It won't definitely work. But you run so much risk. Like, imagine if one of your painter cancels and just says, stuff this, I'm not doing this job.
That's when you have to call in your little nephew or something.
Yeah. And then let's say you've taken payment for this thing. You then have to somehow figure out how to paint this house without then getting done over by Fair Trade Australia by saying, you don't know how to paint a house. You've convinced me to buy your services and you've done the shittest job. It's actually going to cost me more money to undo this.
I reckon there's probably quite a few people who do that stuff.
There definitely would be. And it's just, I guess I'm much more of like a long-term solution type of person. Like that could certainly work. Get enough of those, all of a sudden you have all the capital you need to be able to get someone else to build your website, to do all your marketing. You don't even need to do marketing by that point. You can just build up through word of mouth and keep finding clients this magical way.
So it's a very grunge style.
It is a very grunge style. And it would work for some things though. Like let's say for example you were a video editor, or like you were helping someone do up their videos or photos for a photo shoot. Man, like you can learn so much on YouTube. Like you can practice so much.
Yeah.
Like you can just go around and just like take a bunch of photos, like practice. But I'm pretty good. Fake it till you make it, baby. Like in some things, like that's gonna work much better than my long-term planning will.
Yeah, there was this lovely like Reddit post or story. There was this guy. He had his job.
Yeah.
And he was like, screw this. I'm going to automate it, or I'm going to outsource it. So he outsourced his job on like Upwork or something. So he was paying someone like a salary, of course, but he wasn't doing anything and he was getting more of a salary, and he just had his job outsourced it, bang, just chilling. That's crazy.
That is crazy. And if you can set up that way, amazing.
Yeah.
It just, again, it's going to depend on like what profession you get yourself into.
Yeah.
But yes, that is essentially, that's how I would like I guess methodically and like goal and like plan based approach to achieving like going from zero to profitable business.
Yeah.
But once again, like this might not work at all. Like there's definitely things I've missed, and like you can't really cover much in a short video. But and our experience is quite limited too.
It's shit all.
Yeah.
It's just,
I guess that's like we've tried a couple of things now. I feel like we've come a lot further than we were a year ago.
Yeah.
Put it that way. A year ago I'd be like, marketing? What is that? Like,
how do you do that?
It sounds like fun. Like, is it like a Sunday market so you can like, give you cash for that? But yeah, so I think trial and error is an amazing thing too, and some of these things can be so low risk to start up too.
Yeah,
and they're so much fun.
Paint, like as you were explaining, I was like, oh, that could be a challenge after this running challenge. Just starting up a painting business,
a little business thing next. Maybe that's our next thing.
Let's see how quickly
instead of our next challenge physically draining us, having it physically fill up our bank accounts. That would be a nice change for once, wouldn't it?
That would be a really fun challenge, and
maybe that's coming up next.
Yeah.
Well,
well, you've done well. So in 3 months, R&D, pretty much like let's say that first month, proper R&D, and then the second month sort of focus on their licenses and finding someone.
I reckon you can do all that together.
Yeah.
So licenses and R&D all kind of come together.
Yeah.
If you're really committed to it, you do it at the time. Let's say a month,
like planning.
Yeah, a month to like figuring out your operations, which is like sourcing someone or upskilling.
Yeah.
And then the last month, I reckon you can knock out some. Yeah, it might be some pretty grunge style marketing. It's pretty like you know, there's classic Facebook ad campaigns you see all the time, or like just like local stuff you see jammed into your mailbox.
Yeah.
And it's just shit. But it gets the message
Hopefully
out.
someone out there buys it.
Because you don't need much. Like, if it's just a side hustle, you're not spending too much money on it. You'd hope not anyway. and then it's just going to be pure profit, and you've turned a profit. You know, it's a crazy thing. So yeah, that would essentially be it.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Well, you've done well.
Thank you.
And if anyone else out there has any ideas, or
we're open to it. We need your help too.
Any thought process,
Yeah.
anything we missed, anything they really liked, let us know.
Yeah, and we'll catch you all next time.
Peace.